Let me sit back here, Your Honor.
And I believe some of the family is participating, observing on Zoom. So before we get into the arguments, I want to address the Gonzalez family and all the families, really. Didn't really have an opportunity to do this at the arraignment. My heart does go out to the families. And the loss to your children is devastating and horrific. I mean, there's no dispute about that. I also want to acknowledge and apologize because at the arraignment, I did stumble over a couple of the names, Kaylee's name and Zayman's name, and I want to explain that. I was up all night, really ill, probably food poisoning, and I was not at full potential. Probably also some emotion and nerves as I read those names. And I'm sorry. So that's my apology for that. I know some people were concerned about that and wanted to address it. I also wanted to explain a procedure at the arraignment that apparently drawn from the media that some people were confused when Mr. Kohberger declined to enter a plea. And I just wanted to clear that up because I didn't really see any explanation about that in the media. That is Mr. Kohberger's right. And under Rule 11A1 of the Idaho Criminal Rules, and this is a quote, if a defendant refuses to plead, the court must direct the entry of a plea of not guilty. That is not unusual. But reading the media, it seemed like somewhat mysterious. So I wanted to explain that, particularly to the media. It's a small issue, but it's somewhat, well, I think that I have an obligation, just as the media has an obligation, to help to educate the public about the processes that we are responsible to follow in the courtroom, and that's important for journalists. That's also important for the citizens. So, if you're curious about that, you can always find the criminal rules on the Idaho Supreme Court website. And it's very, very easy to read them and maybe get a better understanding. All right, so that's my speech for today. Mr. Gray, come on up. And
If you'll allow me just a minute or two to get sorted out here.
Take your time. Thank you, Mr. Gray.
Can I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Gray.
First, Your Honor, we'd like to thank you for apologizing to the victim's family. I think it was an emotional day for them, and they appreciate your apology. I know that they took that part up. Thank you. I first want to start with the procedural history of this non-dissemination order, if I could. On January 3rd, 2023, the Judge Marshall submitted a non-dissemination order. And in that order, it applied to parties in the action, which would have been the prosecution, the defense, and any agents, investigators involved in it. After that non-dissemination order was issued, I reached out to the prosecutor's office to see if I could get Judge Marshall's email. For some reason, I don't know if they took it down, but I couldn't find it online. And they informed me that they were not privy to give me that information. Then on January 13th, there was a Zoom call that was requested by Judge Marshall. That Zoom call